All right, so I've got Pam Keith back because the other day when we got finished with our conversation, we talked for another I don't know how long, and you made this point that hit me in the heart and the brain at the same time. It really helped me understand what you talk about, what people are talking about, at least your interpretation of a black girl magic. And you were telling me, Pam, that during the last campaign cycle, when Andrew Gillum was running for president, Kamala Harris came down to give a speech on his behalf, and you were basically the warm-up act for her for him.
Mhm.
And who was there? Who were you speaking to?
So we were at Florida Memorial University, which is a historically black college in South Florida. It's one of the smaller ones people aren't real familiar with, but it's principally an audience of young black women that was in that audience. And there were some men, obviously, but it was mostly young black women. And I was trying to kind of struggling with what to tell them. And I was trying to encourage them to think big, which is one of the big things that I'm always speaking to young people about, is to always think big. And I told them what I thought, the way that I contextualize black girl magic, because at the time it was, quite a phrase tossed around, and I wanted to try to say, I said, listen, ladies, there are three kinds of confidence. The first kind of confidence is the confidence you get from being loved and affirmed within your family, your parents, your siblings, and that makes you feel like you belong and that you're a good person, your quality, and to a certain extent, I mean, we absolutely need it, but we don't necessarily pay all that much attention to it. It's really more impactful in its absence than in its presence, because if you don't get that, you're going to get truly messed up.
Right,
You get
right.
that deep personal insecurities from the absence of that kind of affirmation. But if you
Mm.
get it, you're grounded, you're fairly self-assured, and you go out into the world to compete. And that's where you run into that second kind of confidence, where you compete. You either in school or in a job, you have to compete to get onto law review, and you are measure your talent really, as compared to others, and you get confidence. And there are things that give you certification or validation that you're good, that you're smart, that you're valuable. We get degrees, right? We get awards. We get these things that say, oh, you're really good at this, and therefore
Right.
that makes you feel confident. That's great. I am really good at being a lawyer, for example. I was like, I went to law school and I got good grades. That's great.
Right.
And you feel confidence in that. And then the more you put your skills to something, the better you get. But there's a third kind of confidence. And that kind of confidence is from survival. And that's the kind of confidence where something knocks you so hard off of your pedestal, off of your sense of self worth, and off of everything being okay. Maybe it's a bad health diagnosis. Maybe it's a divorce. Maybe it's a bankruptcy. Maybe it's getting fired. For some people, getting fired is so destabilizing because it might be the first time they're told they're not good enough, right? And that negative reinforcement that you've messed up, you're not as good as you think you are, you're not who you think you are, can really break you down. And it is in emerging out of that, you get to a better place, you survive it, you get another gig, you get another relationship, you start to feel good about yourself. Then you turn around and you look back at what you've been through and you go, wow, I just survived that. And that doesn't just give you a pride in yourself for having endured something difficult, but it also gives you the confidence that you can endure the next difficult thing that comes
Right.
your way. And that is a different kind of confidence. We call that swagger. We call that like, oh, I know I'm grounded in myself. I know how strong I am. And for Black girls who have to try to take care of, get that confidence type A and confidence type B, there's always a little sliver of you're not good enough
Right.
that is involved, right? When you go out to compete in the school or in the university or in your job, there's always that sliver of you've got to prove yourself all that more. And when you do, when you break through, when you impress, when you survive, then you get that sense of self that gives you that glow, that sense of I can be sexy, smart, and strong. And that is Black girl magic.
And that is a glow and a swagger that I think that you personify, which is why your candidacy has resonated so much with people in your district and now people around the country who discover your work. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. Like I said, you were telling me that after we'd press stop, and I said, "Wait, I've got to record this." So you recreated it, and it is so moving and so thoughtful. And it really, I think that last point is a description of resilience
Mhm.
that I have never heard, and it resonated in such a great way with me. Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.